Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of our Smart Investing Weekly Stock Analysis. We're going to look at popular companies that you might be hearing about in the media that might be interesting buys or sells as well. This week we're going to talk about Abbott Laboratories and may not recognize the name, but may recognize the problem they're going through. And I'm talking about the baby formula shortage that we're seeing right now across the country. And Abbott is I guess, the largest manufacturer of baby formula. I didn't know that.
I thought it'd be Gerber or somebody else. That's a baby name, but anyways, I mean, what we're looking at, and again, I feel very bad for the two babies that have died. Uh, but we're looking at this from a company side. Is this a temporary problem? And again, I don't believe they've improved this. It's from Abbott Labs yet, but I'm sure the stock is down. This could be a buying opportunity as they fix things going forward. So this is why we're looking at it. And I don't know if people know, we don't look at these numbers ahead of time. We actually do this live with people. So we have no idea what we're going to see when we look at these companies. So you actually seeing the analysis right off the cuff here, not like, oh, we knew this was going to be good or bad.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of to reemphasize what you brought up too about the babies and stuff is, the reason we're having this issue is the FDA actually went in there and pretty much shut down that Abbott plant, and I think it was Sturgis, Michigan, after there was four babies, I guess, that had a similar illness, and you mentioned the two babies that passed away. It is interesting that they shut down the plant without kind of maybe doing an investigation while it was ongoing or something, because now we're seeing a big problem here for a lot of parents. And what do you do in this situation? It's very complicated.
And I listening to you, it is true. It's like I thought you were innocent until proven guilty, but the FDA, I guess they don't have those rules. They should have looked into things before they actually, shut things down, came to investigate why things are going, because now many, I'm going to say thousands, maybe millions of mothers are having problem getting baby formula for their babies, which could be another problem. So hopefully they can go through this, but I think it's going to take, did you say months?
Yeah, they said that Sturgis plant that they have there, which is one of their largest facilities in the United States that produces the formulas, is going to be offline for months to, I guess, uphold the FDA's recommendations. But again, that's why it's just strange to me. If Abbott says they didn't do anything and it's not because of them, why does the FDA have recommendations that Abbott has to fix? I mean, it just seems counterintuitive to kind of block off that type of supply. And now they're having to convert, I guess, an Ohio plant to producing baby formula instead of some of their other products. And then also, I guess they're shipping in some dried baby powder or baby formula powder from Ireland in one of their facilities there. So, I mean, they're trying to resolve this. But again, we talk about supply chain issues. This is just another issue of, the supply chain problems that we've seen. And also, too, how one factory getting shut down can cause a major issue.
Yeah, and the problem is that you could have other babies with other diseases. I've heard people trying to water down the formula, doing things that can actually hurt the babies. So this whole situation is a shame. I just want people to know that we're very concerned about these babies and so forth, but we also are saying that, Abbott Labs, FDA had nothing to prove it was Abbott Labs, and for them to shut that down, create this shortage is terrible on that side, but for investors, it could be an opportunity if we see Abbott Labs has dropped and now we got some great fundamentals, because this problem will be fixed going forward. This is what I call a fixable problem. So.
And I hate to say it this way, but if Abbott was at fault, yeah, 100%, they need to get investigated, and that was an issue that needed to be resolved. But the problem is, again, two babies. Is it coincidence, and was it an overstep from the FDA to come in and kind of shut that down? Well, there's going to be no repercussions for the FDA if it turns out that what they caused in this problem, essentially by shutting down the factory, was, I'm going to say, a coincidence. It's a tough situation to be in, but I do think that this may have been too aggressive, and maybe the long-term potential problems weren't thought about before the kind of process here to shut down the Sturgis plant.
Yeah. So, well, let's take a look at the company and see if it's worth investing in now or maybe in the near future. We'll see. Let's look at some numbers.
Yeah, let's look at some numbers. And also, too, I was shocked to see this company. I mean, they don't just do baby formula. They also had things like Pedialyte. I didn't know they had Pedialyte and Pediasure, and they have like the Zone Perfect bar. I mean, they have a lot of kind of more consumer-based products. But then they also have other medical device stuff like, pacemakers, I think, is one of their other big things. They have testing kits. I think that's where I recognize them from, the testing kits. They were one of the COVID companies that produce the testing kits. So that's where I recognized the name Abbott. I was like, baby formula, I didn't know that came from Abbott. But anyways, as you said, kind of interesting business to perhaps get involved with. But as always, we want to take a look at the numbers here first.
All right, there they are. Symbols ABT. They are in the medical devices. So I think maybe they make more medical devices and actually do formula and other things maybe. Not much float on the stock here. We see a 0.7%. Institutional ownership, 75%. Now, we do have a good start on the valuation ratios. And the PE 25.5, which is not a great PE, but gosh, look at that industry at 60.1. Price of sales looks okay, 4.4 versus 4.2. No price of tangible book value versus 66.5 for the industry. That's one thing I don't like seeing. Means they have a lot of intangible assets, which if they're written down, could cause some problems with the balance sheet. Good price of cash flow, though, a 19.7 versus 29.7. And a PEG ratio, which is your price earnings divided by growth, looks okay at 1.7 versus 4.9. So I like seeing that number as well. The lower that number, the better. So looking at their earnings over the past year, they've done pretty well here, 35.1% increase, industry down 33.5. So that's a nice positive. Sales over the last year, they were up 19.2%, close to the industry at 21.4. I'm okay with that number. The 5-year estimated growth rate from the analysts here we see is 13.1, not quite as good as the industry at 16.1, but I got to say 13.1 growth rate over 5 years is a pretty good growth rate for a company. We do see a dividend, 1.7%, disappointing on them paying or using a payout ratio of 41.8%. Almost half their money is used to pay out that dividend. I thought that would be higher. Hope that was going to be a little bit higher, more in the 2.5 to 3% range for that amount of payout ratio. We do see that they've done that dividend for 8 consecutive years. Let's take a look at the balance sheet here, Chase. We see current ratio is 1.9 versus 2.8. Yeah, the industry is higher, but 1.9 is okay. Debt to equity, very good on both the industry and the company at 0.5%. We do see a net profit margin here looking pretty good, 17.4 versus 9.8. Return to equity for Abbott is at 21.8. That is nicely above the industry of 14.4. So I like seeing that. Even return on invested capital looking good, 15.7 versus 8.2.
Next up, too, let's take a look at the current price here for Abbott. You can here see the ticker symbol ABT. Current price $109.88. See the 52-week high, though, $142.60. And the 52-week low, $104.63. You see year to date down about 21.3%. I'd be curious, is this getting weighed on heavily just because of, I'm going to say high growth names, kind of the growth type stocks, high valuation stocks getting hit? Or is it partly because of the baby formula? I'm not sure if that's having an impact quite yet. Could just be kind of broader based issues that are bringing down the stock. But either way, 21% decline, pretty substantial here. Next up, let's take a look here at the business going forward and what we're paying for those future earnings. I go out here to December 2023 and I see estimated earnings per share of $4.96. Unfortunately, it gives a target sell price at $82.34, below that current price, again, of $109.88. So I don't like to see that. It's still expensive. One thing I see here too is I'm kind of surprised this year in 2022, their earnings are estimated to decline 6.9%. I do have to wonder how much of those COVID testing kits benefited Abbott Laboratories in terms of their sales and earnings over the last couple of years. And maybe now that's expected to fall off, which is part of the reason earnings are going to take a hit, or maybe it's from the baby formula. I don't know. It's something you have to understand if you're looking at actually buying this company.
It does not look like the baby formula situation is involved in this yet. It looks like this is from the COVID thing. And I was thinking that when we were talking about it, we said about you recognize them from COVID. We've seen a lot of COVID companies like Zoom, Peloton. I mean, how many companies that had related COVID have gone way, way down? So I think so far the decline has been because of the lack of COVID uses, we'll put it. This baby formula thing, we'll have to see how it plays out, because based on what I'm seeing, this stock would not be a buy until it fell down to 60, which could be a possibility. I mean, the news just broke, I think it was today or yesterday, right?
I believe it was a couple of days ago. I know they had a press release today just saying that now it's going to take months. I think that was today, that it would take months to get the Sturgis facility back online, but I believe the news broke yesterday or the day before.
So it's only been a couple of days. I mean, if the media stays on top of this and they keep badgering it, and you start seeing, these terrible stories, people getting baby formula, you may see that this could hurt Abbott Labs, but it would have to fall tremendously, I think, down around 60 or so before I said, yes, now you got a great value buy. That could take a week, that could take a month, that may never happen. But I think it's maybe worth watching this story.
Yeah, I think it's worth watching the story. But as I said, it's still not a valued company at this point. So wouldn't be a buyer. Just interested, I guess, on the story. But hope this video was helpful for you guys today. As always, if you found it informational, be sure to hit that subscribe button below so you're informed about our future videos. Just as a reminder, this video is not to be used as financial advice, and it's just for informational purposes only. If you want more information about our firm, be sure to visit our website, smartinvesting2000.com. We'll talk to you later.